Former Vice President Kamala Harris is finally surfacing to speak out loudly with moral clarity against Donald Trump. This is what we've been waiting for, folks. She spoke in Las Vegas about Donald Trump's catastrophic and unlawful war in Iran, Donald Trump's con job telling the Americans during the campaign that he was going to make their lives so much better, so much more affordable. But at every step, Donald Trump has made things so much worse. And former Vice President Kamala Harris just said, look, when it comes to Donald Trump, it is all bullshit. That's what his entire life is. BS. Con jobs, one gigantic fraud. Let me show you what went down when former Vice President Kamala Harris was not holding back in Las Vegas. She goes, Donald Trump talked about obliterating Iran's nuclear capabilities last June. You know, that was all bullshit. Watch what she says here. Play this clip.
You look at this war in Iran, which the American people do not want, which was not authorized by conference, but even if it was, it should not have been initiated. He talked about obliterating, and then he said, oh, he did. It's all just bullshit. You made me do that. I promised I'm not going to curse in public anymore.
We're in a room amongst friends.
You made me do that. She was over here, just say it.
Yeah, former Vice President Kamala Harris bringing the house down there. Then she talked about how for most Americans right now, the American dream is dead. It is no longer real, and people like Donald Trump are the ones who have killed it. And this is also reflected as well in those consumer sentiment numbers, right? University of Michigan, which does those consumer sentiment reports on Friday, it showed the worst consumer sentiment in the history of the consumer sentiment survey. Here's what Kamala Harris said in Vegas. Let's play it.
Look, for far too many people in our country, the American dream is not real. And in fact, for many people in their lived experience, it's what they would consider an American myth. And we have to be honest about that.
More from Kamala Harris right here, where she says, under the Trump regime, America has become unreliable in the world, unpredictable. We don't have any friends anymore. Those who should depend on us can no longer. America first has been America alone. Watch what Kamala Harris says. Let's play this clip.
You know, when I look at what's happening, in addition to all of that and because of it, we are losing. America has become more unreliable. We've become unreliable to our friends. Unreliable as a friend. To the young leaders here, you don't want to ever be an unreliable friend. And we have also, therefore, lost our influence.
More from the former vice president right here, where she goes, look, we can't just dismiss Donald Trump as an idiot. He is an idiot, but he's also a dangerous idiot. He's dangerous, and America's security and prosperity are on the line, and this dangerous idiot is out there really killing our security and our future. Let's play this clip.
So the consequences are profound. You're talking about taking over Greenland, which is a territory of Denmark, which is a NATO ally. So, but he's not, I'm not going to dismiss him as being an idiot. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. And America's security and prosperity are in the hands and on the line in terms of what he does and does not do. Greenland, anything we want and would have wanted, we could get diplomatically. And you're talking about, Article 5 of the NATO.
More from former Vice President Kamala Harris here. And she says, Donald Trump is the first at something. He's the first president of either party, Republican or Democrat, since World War II, who has intentionally thumbed his nose at the importance of American relationship and our allies. Let's play it.
And I will tell you something. Donald Trump is the first president of the United States of either party, Republican or Democrat, since World War II, who has thumbed his nose at the importance of America's relationships with our allies. Thumbed his nose at it, walked away from them, points fingers at them, calls them names, degrades them in the Oval Office. He's the first president of the United States of either party who has not assumed a responsibility, imperfect though we may be, to be a standard bearer around international rules and norms, such as sovereignty and territorial integrity.
And then former Vice President Kamala Harris has been also speaking, part of a tour that she's doing to the American people. And she's talking about gas prices going up right now. And I know the Trump regime, they always like to attack Kamala Harris and Biden for gas prices. And let's be clear, early on in the Biden-Kamala term, yes, the gas prices were high, but also it was right after Donald Trump left office. Trump left the country a mess. Right? There had to be surgery done on our country after Trump left the country in a cataclysmic state. But I judge a presidency by what happened during the full duration, right? Because Biden and Harris then brought gas prices down while they also built manufacturing jobs up and other jobs up, and they handed Donald Trump what was referred to as a Goldilocks economy, the envy of the world. Just right. Watch Kamala Harris speak in front of a gas station as the prices have been going up, up, up. Here, play this clip.
Hey everyone, so I'm here in Charlotte. Since the start of Trump's war of choice, it's $15 more every time you fill up your tank of gas. The price of diesel has now gone up 80% since the start of the war. And you best believe that's going to carry over to how much you're paying for all the goods that are being transported on those semis. We've got a president who is paying more attention to what he thinks is in his best political interest and personal interest, as opposed to what is in the best interest of working people in America.
So I've talked about OneSkin before, and I have to say it's become one of my favorite skincare products. I use their moisturizer with the OS1 peptide. What really stands out to me is how smooth and healthy my skin feels now. It's not just another moisturizer. It actually works differently than anything else I've ever tried. My go-tos lately have been the OS1 eye cream and the OS1 face, but the truth is they're all great. I use them all. As we age, some skin cells become what scientists call zombie cells. They stop functioning properly and contribute to fine lines, dullness, and loss of firmness. OneSkin's OS1 peptide was specifically engineered to target those cells, so you're not just hydrating your skin, but you're addressing one of the root causes of visible aging. This isn't just marketing hype. OneSkin's results are backed by 4 peer-reviewed clinical studies, more than 10,000 5-star reviews, and recognition from Bloomberg as a leader in skin longevity. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to track the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code Meidas at oneskin.co/Meidas. That's 15% off. OneSkin.co with code Meidas, MEIDAS. After you purchase, they're going to ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
And as I mentioned before, I reflect on the end of the term of Harris and Biden. I think about, as we head to July 4th, about a month or so, a little more, 2 months away, I think about July 4th, 2024, when this is what was going on in the news. Here, play this clip.
AAA predicts a staggering 60.6 million people will hit the roads, surpassing both last year's and 2019's numbers. With gas prices lower than last year's $3.53 average and expected to go down further, more families are opting for road trips.
But then I contrast that to what these MAGA Republicans are out there saying on state regime media now, like Carlos Jimenez, MAGA Republican from Florida. He's like, can you imagine what the world would look like right now if Harris and Biden, do you know how bad things would be? I don't know. I mean, I know how bad they are now. Okay. And I remember what they were like when Biden and Harris left. They were much better. Here, play this clip.
Are you expecting to lose seats in the House for the midterm elections this year?
I was, but I'm not.
Now you're not.
And I'll tell you why. I think that no, I'm not. And I'll tell you why, because we need to go on offense against the Democrats. Can you imagine what oil prices would be today if Joe Biden were actually in office, and the Straits of Hormuz were being closed by Iran? We're now energy independent and we're energy dominant. Under him, we were energy dependent. And so the world would be in a much worse place if Joe Biden and the Democrats were in power.
Because right now, the latest read on consumer sentiment is, well, don't take my word for it. Listen to what Fox says. Here, play this clip.
The latest read from the University of Michigan on consumer sentiment. What do we have, Madison?
Bad number. The number is 48.2 for May. That is a record low. It was expected to slip down to 49.5, but 48.2. We also have some news on inflation, 4.5% increase over the year in inflation. You know, when you look at this number, 48.2, this is the third straight decline and the second record low in a row.
And then you have Trump, who's been repeating things would be way worse than 1929 right now if we had Harris. Things may be really awful right now. Donald Trump's claims were in a golden age. He goes, but imagine how bad they would be if Biden and Harris were still in office, right? Or if Harris was the president. Why? I mean, this is one of the tools of a con artist. It would be worse. No, it is bad right now. You are the leader. Act like a grown-up. Take accountability. You're horrible. Here, play this clip.
If we didn't win this election, if we had Kamala, who's the same as Joe, low IQ people, but if we had Kamala, you would have a country that would be right now in ruins. I believe that 100%. Things would be in a state like nobody's ever seen before. Worse than anything you've ever imagined. Worse than 1929, in my opinion.
Now, I remember at the last speech that Kamala Harris gave was, I believe, in March. I was at Jesse Jackson's memorial service. And she said, I'm just going to say it. I did predict a lot of this. Here, play this clip.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming. But what I did not predict is that we would not have Jesse Jackson with us right now to help us get through this. And this afternoon has been such a beautiful remembrance of his spirit, his life, and his faith. And in a way that Reverend Al talked about it and so many others have, I do think of this afternoon as what it is doing for me to renew my faith in what is possible, fueled by the hope that Jesse Jackson so often reminded us of.
And so speaking of predicting a lot of this, I think about the debate that she had with Trump. We all saw it. Clearly, she outperformed Donald Trump. Clearly, if this were a meritocracy, it was not even close. Trump's performance in this debate was far worse than the original debate where it was Biden and Trump. And Trump was horrible in that first debate too, where he lied about everything. Everyone wanted to talk about Joe Biden because he was the president and he looked really old. But Trump was lying about everything, and Trump was, in my view, just as bad. But Harris had an incredible debate. We all remember that debate. Here, play this clip.
Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this. And the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy.
She was right about everything. Remember this part of the debate? Here, play this clip.
These dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear they can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.